Have you ever been in a submarine where there's a creature in the abyss lurking and you have to survive by taking x-rays of the abyss? Well, guys, this is Squadcast Podcast.
Said yes to any of those, then you're talking about Iron Lung.
Iron Lung, the video game adaptation movie made by Markiplier. And today, we are going to be reviewing, more or less, talking about Iron Lung. And I'm FMB, and this is AustinGamerMan. And we're going to be talking about our thoughts on the Iron Lung movie. So, Austin, what did you think of the movie when it first started out? What did you think?
There was a lot of stuff happening, which made it great. Because in the game, it's really not that much to it, but he expanded the universe of Iron Lung.
He went with full details as to when they were doing the submarine and stuff. You know, didn't he give a behind the scenes footage of a crane doing the submarine and stuff, and we had to make sure that the cast and everyone was careful during the...
Well, even the blood part was added more.
Didn't they have a system or something for how they made the blood?
They had pumps and stuff, which made it all great because it added a bunch of horror aspects. He's trying to, if you haven't seen Iron Lung the gameplay, it's where you go around on this map. You have to map out exact coordinates where your submarine's going to the spots you have to take x-rays in the ocean. Well, the water is made out of blood.
And the thing is, your submarine is going to be going through a lot of stuff when you try taking the x-rays and stuff, because again, blood goes in the submarine and then starts flooding, like how it was flooding in the movie, of course. There was a lot of blood in the movie, we'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is heavily based on the actual video game. If you notice some stuff, the compass may look a little different, the system and how it works in the game than the movie. Well, he wanted to make it look a little more realistic in a way, so that it would have more realism effect to it, which I thought was pretty cool. And the x-ray stuff, still the same. Everything was still the same, pretty much. I'm not really sure if they'd used actual music from the game or something. Maybe they did. I don't really know.
I think they used his own music, but there really wasn't that much music in the game.
Yeah, there wasn't much music in the game itself.
Because it had that much music.
Yeah, it was an indie project, but the way they did the blood when they put it in that, the pump system and all that.
To swim through all that.
I thought that was pretty interesting, the way that it was so realistic, because the way that glass broke in the submarine when he was getting closer to where his coordinates were going, the glass just broke just a tiny bit in the front rear window of that circle window, and then just a little bit of blood flowing right out of it.
It was crazy that he got that blood, and then you figure out that was the thing that affected him, was the actual blood in the wall. Because it touched his face, and then you see later in the movie that it scars him.
Pretty much, because it's like a poison or something. It's
not
poisoning his face. It's not?
No. That's where I'm going to the theory of hive mind. Because think about it. He's hearing the voices of people.
Well, yeah, phantoms and stuff. He's hearing a bunch of ghosts.
They're more of people in the hive mind, because they're all dead, but they got absorbed into the creature.
Yeah, that's true. They got eaten by the creature.
No, absorbed by the creature, as in like a hive mind.
As in their minds got absorbed by it.
No, their bodies got absorbed. You know it has no skeleton remains of humans?
Oh yeah, their body got absorbed by it.
How he was mutating, his body was getting stuck onto the sub. Remember that?
Yeah, because of the veins and stuff. There was stuff keeping his arm onto it. Vines, they were just keeping his arm onto it, and he couldn't get it off, and his arm broke off.
Yeah. But also, there's a lot of apparently there's backstory, the guy blew up a space station but didn't. I wish he did more on that, because there wasn't that much information on that.
There wasn't a whole lot of information on that. We were pretty confused on that. I was myself. They didn't really right when the beginning of the movie started. They were just saying, "Oh, you're in here because of you blew up this space station."
About how he didn't blow it up.
Yeah,
I do it.
And he's explaining that he got framed and stuff. He's down here doing this mission because he wants to do this mission. Well, he doesn't want to actually do it. They're forcing him to do it because they want to find more stuff out about what's going on in the abyss.
Go down there, grab stuff, and then bring it back up and be free. He wasn't thinking they're gonna have him do all this extra stuff.
But they basically tricked him because they were trying to more or less get him excited about going back up. Oh yeah, you get to go back up. And oh, I'm sorry, we got this thing we got you to do. And oh, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to go back up. And he's like, what? Why can't I? I did all this for you, and I did this, I did all that. What? So that meant nothing, huh? So like he's pretty much kind of lost hope because he can't get back up and anything. And the vines are somewhat killing him because like they're absorbing into his body, and which basically the stuff that he's got on his face is like absorbing into some kind of hive. And
and that's why I think he can hear the voices of the previous people in the subs.
Yeah. At first,
Jacksepticeye was in that movie. I didn't hear his voice. Maybe I wasn't.
I noticed that his voice was in that speaker part where it was.
He plays the bad guy all the time.
He's always playing the bad guy role and stuff all the time, and always, or the superhero role, and you never know. But like, I noticed his voice. I don't really know the actress' name or anything. I don't really know who she is or anything, so I don't really know anything about her. But like, I will say though, it's like he was hearing a lot of the voices and stuff because he was dying from the hives and stuff that the vines, got into his body. His arm broke off, and I was hearing a bunch of stuff. But even before that, I thought it was just the oxygen that was doing it because he was losing oxygen in the submarine, like a lot of it, and he was like on one bar left. And I thought like his mind was just going crazy and stuff because remember, like there's that one part where Simon's just hallucinating and stuff, and he's just like, whoa, wait a minute, so you're telling me that there's a way to get out of here and stuff?
I think that all that oxygen thing was to make a twist that it wasn't the oxygen causing him to go insane. It was the mind.
Someone was tricking him in a way. It was.
Yeah, remember how it was trying to tell him, "Don't do it! Don't take the thing to the surface." It didn't want him to burn the thing.
And he pretty much didn't listen. And pretty much what happened was that it was somewhat teaching him a lesson, is what it sounds like, because like it seemed really angry and stuff that gonna actually do that. So it was like, okay, you know what, you're not gonna do that. So the vines are getting all over the submarine, the inside of it, so much blood, like just flooding the entire submarine to where he's just gonna drown. Pretty much, he's getting back the oxygen back in the submarine somehow, and it's like, wait, what? It was just that one thing of oxygen there, and it's like, okay, like what's going on here? And more or less, I would have to say that was somewhat tricking him in a way too, because his mind was going into the hive mind, and his whole body was pretty much because he was dying and stuff. Like like during the end,
monster got blown up.
He got blown up towards the end, and pretty much we thought more or less Simon had survived, and kind of making it seem like, oh, he survived. And there's this blood abyss where it's just like there's this thing just floating, and it's like, okay, oh, it's that thing he had that he was holding on to, and it's like, is he alive? Nope, he's dead. So like, oh, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's not coming back in the movie.
He pretty much had gotten used for experiment and didn't get to spend the rest of his life trying to.
He didn't even get to be. He just sacrificed.
Yeah, he didn't get to be free. Yeah, he had to sacrifice himself for some project that they forced him to do.
They had the lesson of not being selfish, I guess, because humanity needed that research, I guess.
Yeah, they somewhat needed it in a way, and he learned to not be selfish and kind of help them, but also in the meantime, he was kind of getting used by them because he couldn't escape the fact that they're actually pretty much secretly saying to him, well, the one we're actually saying it to his face was, we're not going to let you back up, no matter what.
She was willing to let him back up if he made it.
Yeah, she was getting hassled by the other guy.
What happened was his ship was showing bad signs, and he had to protect the thing, or else the creature would get it. They had to sacrifice himself.
Like, he had to go back to the other ship and get all that data and stuff. Pretty much, he was probably never ever going to make it out of there anyway because it was too late anyway because he had pretty much was gonna die anyway. There was really no hope left because he was so close to it, and it's like try escaping from it. It's like you're not gonna get far from it.
Yeah.
And crazy was the fact that it showed him like all out of the submarine and all into the blood and stuff, and he's seeing like this whole blood scape of a abyss, just a bunch of blood and stuff.
Yeah.
Like swimming in blood water. Bunch of just like trippy stuff. Like it was just like he was just in some kind of hive mind, like a hive. Like he was just looking at a bunch of stuff. And pretty much he had
it was like a giant
yeah.
pie.
Yeah, and he pretty much when he woke up it was just an imagination pretty much. But he was in the submarine the whole entire time, so that was all in his head.
That's when he became part of the hive mind.
Yeah, I would say so.
He really met the creature running the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he met the creature and he was in that territory, and then the creature was in the blood abyss, and he saw the thing in the sky, and then he was so close to the hive to where like his mind had already, in a way, had access to it. Like his whole body just got corrupted by it. To where it's just like he was just imagining it the whole time. Pretty much he didn't even know that he was even going to die by it. He thought, oh, it's because of the oxygen. Oh, it's because of the oxygen. I'm running out of oxygen. Oh, yeah, I'm low on oxygen. He's talking to this person that had died from the other submarine. Oh, yeah, I'm low on oxygen and stuff. And I guess this is going to be my last time being here and being able to say my final word and stuff.
So as I was saying was the hive mind was basically using the dead people's voices to basically give him like a consciousness thing. Try to get him to not do the thing that the people above are telling him to do. So that way the monster succeeds, whatever it's trying to do.
Yeah. And pretty much they were like, no, you gotta sacrifice yourself. Oh no, you gotta make sure that we know something about this monster so we don't die. We already lost a lot of other people and we don't want to die. And we're sending you here for that reason because we want you to do it because we can't do it ourselves, is what they're saying.
Well, because they already sacrificed too many people. And if you sacrifice a criminal, what? You're not risking good people.
You're not risking any good people because it's just a criminal. So they're like, yeah, it's just one less life. It's just a criminal, Like, how bad can that be? He's like, thinking, okay, you do this one last thing and you can get back up and stuff. And pretty much just like what he said, the whole sequence is trying to talk his way into not actually doing the task that what the lady on the speaker, the one that he had first talked to, the one that had told him to do it in the first place.
And then you saw it dripping out of the speakers.
Yeah, you saw just like the blood dripping out of there, like a whole lot of it. And didn't that like I think like the one that told him to do the job had died, and like there was just a bunch of blood just like bleeding out of the speaker.
No, it was the fact is that the thing was taking over the ship. It got in.
Well, remember she was screaming.
That's why they tried to use the shield so it can't get in the ship.
Remember, she was screaming though, like actually screaming, like she was.
No, that wasn't her. That was the other lady, the one that's dead.
Oh,
she's the one screaming. It was very confusing.
That was confusing because I thought that was one from the first part. What were you gonna say?
What I was gonna say is that basically people died, and I wonder if that ship was the good people they were talking about that they sent down that they can't risk anymore. Probably because people died going down there. They sent so many people down there that they had to rely on a criminal.
Yeah, they sent so many of them down there that they never came back from it. So they're like, we've already sent all of our people here. This guy, this one thing that was really bad, and we should send him down here as a punishment. And technically, he's just being framed for it, and he's trying to get his way back up there so he doesn't have to do this thing because he knows he's gonna die.
Well, he wants his
pretty freedom. Much, yeah, he wants his freedom. He wants to get out of there and just live a normal life and not just be doing someone else's dirty work, which he's already had to do.
Now, the ending confused me because there wasn't any more built on that. It was just like, shows the bag and cut.
Yeah, it shows the thing, yeah. I think what it was symbolizing that pretty much what he was trying to do pretty much it failed. The task had failed because.
But the cinematography was so good in that movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Work. And for a Disney film, it had such great special effects.
Yeah, and just even like a $3 million budget, like for just the set, the lighting, the camera angles.
Number one on the box office.
Yeah, just like a day or so, like he just got number one in the box office, and then it's like, whoa, that is just something new from just a big YouTuber that has made his first movie, and it's a small indie movie, and it's like, whoa, like everyone's shocked because, and then Hollywood's like, okay, we gotta step this back so this movie doesn't get on top.
Then they got caught on that when it disappeared, and they're like, oh, it was just a glitch. Trying to say it was a glitch.
They were just extremely jealous of the success the movie made because it did pretty good.
They spent less money making it than what Hollywood could do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Markiplier had showed that you don't need big time directors. You don't need all these high paid A-list actors to be in a movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the thing about a movie is his movie. It's so creative, like the effects and everything. We talked about that and stuff, and the way that it's so real and stuff is the way that they've made the casting and stuff. I mean, Markiplier aside, probably one of the best castings ever in a indie movie project, and as well as Troy Baker obviously being the bad guy is such a good role, obviously. So this is his first ever movie, so that's pretty interesting.
Have you ever seen a roach as big as a puppy? Well, look no further than the Fallout show.
If you ever wandered through the Mojave and wished for a nuclear winter, well, guys, welcome to Squadcast Podcast,
where all the Vault Dwellers turn their Pit Boys to.
Austin, what did you think of the Fallout show so far? Like, what do you think of it?
Well, the power armor is what was the greatest part of the show, is how they did power armor. Like, they're these big, bulky suits that are all heavy, and they do a lot of damage to people.
Like, the way they've designed them and stuff, it's so accurate to the games and everything. Like, they did not miss not one single exterior of how it's actually supposed to look. And the way that how Maximus is just puts it on and stuff, like actually the realism between that and stuff is just cool. Like how
you can't bring realism to this universe, to be honest, because
I'm just getting into the game. I'm just bringing the realism to the game here because
the lore.
The way
it's in lore. You mean lore?
I mean in lore, like how they make it look in a way so accurate as to how you put on the actual suit. And it's like our first actual time we actually see in the upcoming season Cooper Howard like in an actual suit.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
I still don't know the lore reason why ghouls can't wear power armor. That's like a lore thing. I don't know. It was weird that was a lore.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense how they can't wear that.
While we're talking about that, well, we can also talk about the Pip-Boy's functionality in the show, that it actually works in the show. Like, they can literally maneuver around the things with the switches and buttons.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's all actually them doing stuff.
Yeah, I know, because it's like, you notice like how everyone in that one scene where everyone's getting into the building before the apocalypse happened, they have the Pip-Boys on and stuff, and they're getting into it with just using the Pip-Boys stuff. Got like a little code and stuff, and it does like right for them, and it's like, wait, what? Like, it does that? I thought it wasn't supposed to do that. Well, I guess it does, because it can do more than how the games actually had pointed out to what it couldn't do, what it can actually do. And it's like, wow,
it's not just your inventory checker thing and status thing and map thing. It's more than that. It's like a computer. It's basically a computer on your wrist. Like, it's
like a small computer.
But also the fact of it that we can't talk about Pip-Boys without talking about Mr. House.
Yeah, exactly, because that's how he was able to get into his own place. He's the one that designing everything and stuff.
He's the one that made all the robots in the Fallout universe.
Yeah.
He's a very smart guy, just very self-centered.
He's a very self-centered person, alright.
Yes, if you play Fallout New Vegas, probably most of the people who know about Fallout do have is that he was a guy who cared only about himself and would literally use the nukes to only defend his city, like Las Vegas. He only defended Las Vegas because he was born there. But the only reason why he failed the majority of it was because of something called, what's the chip called? It's a token. It's one of those chips.
Platinum chip.
Yeah, the platinum chip. Without the platinum chip, he couldn't save all of Vegas.
Yeah.
And then we have Walton Goggins. He has a great acting career. Like, have you ever seen how his acting career happened, Michael?
Not exactly. Like, I do
made shows. Literally, yeah, he was gonna be dying in the first episode, and he made it so he lives throughout most of the seasons. He was only there for one episode, but then he turned it into being there for multiple seasons in other shows. He played the stereotypical southern racist guy. That's what he was categorized as back then. But now he's more of a hero guy now.
Yeah, the guy has been, at first, I don't even think he was actually making projects. Like, he was, like, in small, like, low-budget projects. He
apparently already has an Oscar.
And yeah, he's got an Oscar. I mean, for just even being in the actual show, like he's now playing a good.
This was like way before Fallout.
Oh.
He got the Oscar way long ago. It was like in 2008.
2008.
Yeah, he made like a project with his friend and it got an Oscar.
Now he's gotten like so far with just making his own projects, being in like small budget movies and stuff. He only did one small budget project. Wasn't that like in the 90s or something? Like
no,
like the late 90s? No.
No, that was during the 2000s.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name of it. I don't even know. But yeah, he was in that, and he made his own stuff, and then people started knowing him and recognizing him, and he started getting all these roles and stuff.
Literally said he's a generational actor, even though Quentin Tarantino did something weird defending a weirdo, but we won't get into Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
That's like something we talk about very later, not right.
Yeah, like it's just crazy how Walter Goggins just gotten from all those roles, and then now he's a bad guy role. How he was in that Man and Wasp movie, and then he's getting recognized more.
And he was in Vice Principals.
Yeah, he's playing like all these roles that I never played before, and a comedy show.
Like use the words in his face.
Yeah,
like an actual scene good. That's why when he was playing the villain, he was always like a villain that people can't hate.
Because he's got such a good voice and like a good, like the way he does when he like moves like his body and stuff, a good body posture. Yeah, he's got a good smile too. Yeah, a really good smile.
Yeah. Apparently the reason why his teeth are that way because of a accident with a diving board. But now we can't talk about Walton Goggins without talking about Cooper Howard, the Ghoul.
Oh yeah, like I would say him being the Ghoul and the way they even made the character is just unbelievable. How far it's gotten from the first season to the second season.
Yeah,
the way
the
his
Ghoul,
character.
He's like a great character. He literally shows how someone normal and who wants to be a good person can just turn into this evil guy who just does not care about people anymore. He lost his family. He's now searching for them. He searched a lot of vaults just to find them. And then he finds them in the managers, but he didn't find them. He found a postcard to Colorado.
Something that they were in Colorado or something. So then at like the end of the season finale, he's walking away, hinting that the show is going to be taking place in Colorado.
Well, yeah, I think the Enclave's in Colorado.
Yeah, it is. That's where things are going to start changing, and we're not going
to... They're like everywhere. Maybe their headquarters changed. But Cooper Howard gave the president cold fusion, and that was a bad idea. That's why he says you have to give it to a bad person to do something good.
Yeah. And the thing about that, he regret actually giving it to the president because he didn't know that an actual nuclear fallout was going to happen. So.
No, he regrets it because the Enclave is the president.
Well, yeah, like he regrets it now, but at that time he knew, like at that time he thought he was actually giving it to the right person.
Senator lady.
Yeah.
The reason why Hank McClane did that is because of her personality test showed she was a good person, so he used her as the hub.
Pretty much as the chip for setting out all those chips that he put in all the people, right?
Yeah.
Which was controlling all of them.
Yeah, and then it was kind of sad that he just like did that to her, to Lucia, that he's like, okay, I'm gonna go and erase my memory.
That was pretty sad.
That guess what? She's Canadian!
She's Canadian and she's 200 years old!
They didn't care about the part that she's 200 years old. They cared about the part she's Canadian. That was the funniest part. She's Canadian!
That was funny.
And the fact like Hank McClane was actually married way before he met Lucy's mother.
Oh.
So does that mean he was like doing some swinging action? He's a swinger?
Funny, because like people say that, oh, you know, that's Lucy's mom. No, that would be her. Like if you did not watch the first season, technically Hank already has another wife.
Her in the nuclear blast.
Yeah, he had killed her in the nuclear blast.
And he probably left her there because he didn't want loose ends. He didn't want Lucy leaving the vault.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, he didn't want anyone finding out about what was going on. So he had to cut some loose ends and stuff. And more or less, like Lucy knew what happened, maybe to her mom and an extent, but Hank was somewhat very secretive when it came to
you saw how he blew up Shady Sands and then went back to reading a book like nothing happened.
Yeah, that's pretty shady.
Well, yeah, Baltic is shady because their shareholders were literally the Enclave and the U.S. government.
Like technically, they were just like working, like not against each other, but working together in a way.
Yeah, but the Enclave is a very group that hates everybody. If you are affected by radiation, they kill you. If you're a Simran, they kill you. If you're a ghoul, they kill you. Anybody involved with radiation, they kill you. That is literally what they do. They want pure humans. They believe in having pure humans, not people who are infected. They believe that the people who are infected with radiation are mutants and need to be extinguished. That's why they're gonna, in the first, I think Fallout 1 or 2, they're gonna release FEV to the wasteland to eradicate everybody.
They're just like trying to get rid of all the infected and just trying to wipe them out.
Actually, they're not infected, they're civilians.
It's just so cruel that they would want to do something like that. Like, why?
Well, Michael, they believe in bringing back order and a means of bringing back humanity before the nukes drop, which means eradicating everything.
Doesn't seem right though. Still,
they believe that, and they're literally what's left of the U.S. government. And some of them, kinda. All the companies have power over the government agencies, but the president wanted. He was gone for 2 weeks before the bombs dropped. He was already on the oil rig before the bombs dropped.
Yeah, that makes you question that. Did he have something to do with the bombs
dropping? It was just coincidentally he was just on the oil rig. That's what's funny. He didn't even plan for that.
He had no plan and no intention to actually do that. I think they were just the other people that were behind it just wanted to do it themselves because
the only people who are involved are people who are in each branch of government. So the vice president, the president, the Department of Defense, the Department of Treasury, all those people high up in government got a call from the president to come to the oil rig. All the people below, like Congress, those people did not ever survive. The only people who survived was the people in high positions of power in government.
Very true.
The reason why I say not Congress is because they had a congressional meeting without the president.
Yeah, that did happen. I will say that, isn't, Hank McClane technically, wasn't he, in some kind of government thing?
Well, technically his leaders was the Enclave because Vault-Tech's leaders were the Enclave, and the test of the vaults was what they were testing for the Enclave to be ready to go to space. This was all the tests in the vaults was so they could go to space and survive.
Because didn't they think that they were gonna rebuild something there or something?
They were gonna rebuild civilization in space.
Isn't that what Elon's trying to do?
Well, I guess you could say the Enclave follows Elon Musk's ideas. But the Enclave hired Vault-Tec to put tests in Vault just to see what would happen in severe cases. Like, you know how there's tests where they did human testing on what would happen if they had to vote on the overseer and had to sacrifice somebody, had to vote on sacrificing somebody. But if they didn't vote, they would have survived and wouldn't have voted anybody. They could have done that. They just chose not to because they were scared of dying. There's a vault like that. And then there's a vault where they had a guy by himself, like isolated, where he only had a puppet, and then he went insane. They had one guy in one vault only.
What?
Yep, that happened. And then there was one case where they just tested FEV on people, and then they tested cloning on people. There was the gambling one where they put people in higher power, like the upper class, and they had the lower class in the same vault, and they all just had disagreements over each other, and then there was a whole rivalry. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, these vaults were all tests for the Enclave.
They were like all test subject like vaults, right?
Well, yeah, what you gonna do when you have free test subjects running away from a nuclear blast? You get free test subjects.
They're gonna find a way to use them as test subjects.
And then Fallout 4, you're in Frozen in stasis.
Oh yeah.
Which was a test on human stasis. The Enclave wasn't even in Fallout 4. They were in Fallout 3, Fallout 2, and I'm not sure if they were in 1 because I never played 1. Apparently, Tim Kaine, the creator of Fallout, technically the Institute was cut content in Fallout 1.
Content?
Yeah, there was like gonna be machinery people who look like how synths look, and they were cut out the game.
Huh. I don't get why they want to cut that out.
Well, because you gotta save resources, and there were so many bugs in their engine that they just didn't have time to put stuff in. They were using like code that was like different than what today. You have to.
It was probably like really outdated.
RAM was limited. They had to worry about RAM of like 150 megabytes.
Yeah, it was outdated, dude. The stuff that
the game was made in the 90s.
Yeah, it was all different. It wasn't like how it is now, where everything is just it's a 3D. How it's all now, 3D character, 3D like world.
But going back to Lucy's dad, he wanted the chips. He wanted to do something good though, but he's so blinded by his will to want people to be good that he brainwashed people into becoming good people.
Pretty much kind of went over his word on that.
Well, because he read a book, he said it. Remember he was talking about the word in the front or something?
Yeah, it was that. It was that one.
There's a movie that you can watch of that. It's about Germany during World War One, where they basically thought war was great.
Jeez.
And then they go, and then they see people dying. It's a great movie. You guys should see it. It's on Netflix, I think. It's a great story about how Germans during World War II. Well, this might be I'm going off topic, but bear with me, guys. Here's a history lesson. In World War One, after they lost, and they were basically had to pay reparations to every single European country, and that's why you had Mr. Mustache Man get into power, because Germany was broke. Going on that. And then before that happened, Germany had a monarchy. They killed their monarchy after World War One. Well, off on that. Continue what we're talking about. So, Lucy's dad read that book, and he saw how bad humans are. They were fighting over land, which he saw meaningless. And so he's like, why not just get rid of the fact that people want meaningless things and have them work together? He saw that, which is a great idea, but when you're mind controlling people against their will, it's kind of wrong.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like they don't have like feelings. Tell them like they didn't have any feelings. They're just all happy and stuff.
They're like empty.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's so weird.
Let's talk about Canada, because the main guy from Fallout 4 apparently was in Canada during that war, and he literally was laughing at Canadians getting murdered. You know that?
No, I didn't know that.
The rate? Yeah, he was laughing at Canadians getting butchered, like literally getting shot. He was there in Canada, because the reason why Canada attacked was mostly because the US saw it easier as putting the oil through Canada than having it travel around Canada.
Yeah.
So they did that, and then Canadian rebels sabotaged Alaska. Well, they went to Alaska, attacked the pipeline, and then that's when the U.S. went and annexed Canada because of revolutionaries in Canada sabotaged the pipeline.
What effect did that have on everyone?
Well, it caused them to be put in concentration camps.
Oh.
Yeah, they were put in concentration camps to work on the oil fields, and they would be executed.
Jeez.
And this happened in 2076 when the annexation of Canada ended. So Canada became a part of the United States in 2076, and then she's Canadian happened because like they saw Canadians as lower than America. That's why they had that reaction, was because Americanism. They saw Canadians as weak. That's what happened. And then we're going to talk about Liberty Prime Alpha. Liberty Prime Alpha, I think, is probably going to be stronger than the Liberty Prime from Fallout 4. I'm going to say this because he has, what's his name? I forgot the guy who runs the Brotherhood. But if you've seen the end credit scene, he literally has the blueprints for Liberty Prime that they didn't have in Fallout 3. They had to rebuild them just figuring out parts. But since he has the blueprint, he could literally rebuild Liberty Prime from parts he finds.
That's like very shocking because the whole thing has gotten so far from the third game to like now they're just rethinking the idea, but now just in a more advanced way.
It's in Fallout 4 and 3. Liberty Prime was in both games.
Now they're just thinking of a way to make it so like it's more advanced and they have like an actual like blueprint for it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 5 seasons that are going to be a thing. I sure hope they have 5 seasons. There better be 5 seasons. This show is way too good to end.
I don't think it would end because they've been doing pretty good with it.
Yeah, unless they screw it up, which somehow I don't know how you're gonna screw up a Fallout show. Like,
I don't think they are. The direction they've been going with it is pretty good.
Yeah, then there's some shows that end up being trash. Cough, cough. Last of Us.
No, you.
Last of Us season 2 sucked.
Well, obviously, because they're going off base the second game.
Yes.
Because they killed off Joel in the game anyway, so they're gonna always
kill him off. They should have just retconned that. Nobody likes him dying because now you're relying on a B tier actress to run the show. Like, it's like putting a B tier actor. Pedro Pascal is a S tier actor, but if you just kill him off and then you put a B tier actress in the place of Joel, there's not really going to be much to build on that, and it's not going to be good. But I think that's the end of our podcast, guys.
Yeah, guys, this is the end of Squadcast Podcast. And again, we hope you all have a good day.
And also stay safe out there, Vault Dwellers.